Okay, good afternoon, all. We will start with our session. Today, we are going to talk about global marketing channels and physical distribution. I, Dr. Ron Prabhakar Devale, welcome you all. So, learning objectives for today's session. So, we will identify and compare the basic structure options for consumer channel as well as industrial channel. So, basically, we are going to talk about distribution channel, global marketing distribution channel, also physical distribution. So, we'll also list out the guidelines the company should follow when choosing the channel immediately and intermediaries in the global markets. Also, will describe the different categories of retail operations that are found in various parts of the world. Then we'll compare and contrast the six major international transportation modes and explain how they vary in terms of reliability, accessibility, and other performance metrics. So we'll start with the basic theory of a distribution channel. So we'll see objectives, terminology, and structure of distribution channel. You must know about the two-tier system, three-tier system, and all. So we'll just have a recap or revision of that. So marketing channel exists to create the utilities for the customers. The major categories of the channel utilities are: first is place utility, then time utility, and information utility. So place utility is the availability of product or service in a location that is convenient to the potential customer. So that is place utility. Then time utility is the availability of product and service when desired by a customer. So whenever customer exactly require that product or service, then that product and service should be available at the same time. That is time utility. Information utility is the availability of answers to the questions and general communication about the useful product features and benefits that is available for the customer. Also, we can add one utility that is called as form utility. Form utility is the availability of product processed, prepared, in preparation condition, and ready to use. That is, in which form the product or services are available. So these are the some utilities part. Then because of this utility can be a basic source of competitive advantage and comprise an important element of firm's overall value proposition. So the customer will definitely compare these utilities with other type of competitor, and if a particular company is having suppose time utility over the other, then that particular company which is having the time utility will win in the market. Now, the firm's overall value proposition, choosing a channel strategy is one of the key policy decision management that must be made by the customers. Also, for example, we can say that Coca-Cola's company's global marketing leadership position is based in the part of its ability to put Coke within an arm's of reach of the desired customer. So, in other words, you can say that they have created the place utility. So, Coca-Cola or other type of soft drinks have created the place utility. The starting point in selecting most of the effective channel management is clear focus of the company's marketing effort to target market and an assessment of the ways or way in which the distribution can contribute to firm's overall value proposition. Who are the target customers and where the target customers are located? What are the information requirements by the customer? What are their preferences for services? How sensitive the customers are to the prices? Moreover, each market must analyze to determine the cost of providing the channel services. Also, we'll ask few questions to ourselves in the uh, self-analysis process that organization should ask. That includes what is the appropriate in one country may be not effective in another country. So even marketers concerned with every single country program can study channel arrangement in different part of world for valuable information and insights into the possible new channel strategies and various tactics. For example, retailers from Europe and Asia studied self-service discount retailing in the United States and then introduce the self-service concept in their countries or in their own countries. Similarly, government and business executives from many parts of the world have examined Japanese trading companies to learn from their success. Walmart's formula has been closely studied and copied by the competitors in the market it has entered. As defined previously, distribution channels are systems that links the manufacturers to the customers. Although channels for consumer products and industrial products are look similar, there are also some distinct difference. In B2B marketing or in B2C, we'll start with B2B or B2C, that is business to customer marketing. Consumers channels are designed to put the products in hand of the customer for their own use. And by contrast, business to business marketing, that is B2B marketing, involves industrial channels that deliver the products to the manufacturers or to the organization that use them as inputs in the production process or their day-to-day operations. So intermediaries, that is middlemen, play important roles in both consumer distribution channel as well as the industrial distribution channel. So distributor is a wholesaler or wholesale intermediary that typically carries product lines or brands on a selective basis. Also, you can add one thing that is called as agent. So an agent is an intermediary who negotiates exchange transactions between two or more parties but does not take title to the good being purchased or sold. So we'll have a look at one diagram. You must have studied this diagram before. That is marketing channel alternatives for consumer products. So this is the simple diagram from manufacturers at the top. M stands for manufacturers. Now we have to distribute the entire thing to the end customers. So M stands for manufacturer, W stands for wholesaler, R stands for retailers, and MSF, that is manufacturers own sales force. So maybe from manufacturers to manufacturers own sales force, you can transfer those products directly to customer. That is shown in the first part. That is through internet, mail order, interactive TV, or door-to-door marketing. That is through house party or consignments to part-time, or maybe to manufacturers' own stores. That is factory outlet. Salespersons can be appointed, and you can send those products to or sold those products to the ultimate customers. That is the first part. Then in second we are having manufacturers. Then manufacturers own sales force and directly to retailers. They will distribute and retailer to customers. Or the typical at the last you can see manufacturers to wholesalers, wholesaler to retailers, and retailers to customers. And in between you can have agents or brokers, or maybe you will include wholesalers, or you may be skip wholesalers, or you may have a combination of direct to retailer also and through wholesalers to retailers also. So it is complex thing. So this summarizes six channel. This figure summarizes six channel structure alternatives for the consumer products. The characteristics of both buyers and products have an important influence on channel design. The first alternative is to make the market directly to the buyers through internet, mail order, and various door-to-door selling, etc., or manufacturers' own retail outlets. The other option use retailers and various combination of sales force, agents, brokers, wholesalers. The number of individual buyers and their geographical distribution, income, shopping habits, and reaction to the different selling methods frequently vary from country to country. In a large country like India, it may differ from state to state, or it may require different channel approaches. So the product characteristics such as standardization, perishability, then bulk purchase, service requirement, and unit price have an impact as well. Generally speaking, channels tend to be longer require more intermediaries as number of customers to be served increases and the price per unit decreases. Bulky products require or usually require the channel arrangement that minimizes the shipping distances and number of times the product change hands before they reach to the ultimate customers. The internet and related forms of new media are dramatically altering the distribution channel landscape. We are having a number of website players on that, website shopping, etc. So eBay pioneered to peer-to-peer marketing, that is P2P model. So they have introduced or pioneered P2P marketing model, whereby individual customers market products to the other individuals. In other words, you can say that customer to customer marketing. So eBay's success was one reason that traditional merchants quickly recognized the internet's potential. To sustain revenue growth, eBay began assisting the large companies such as Disney and IBM in the setting up online storefronts to sell various items for fixed prices in addition to the conducting B2C auctions. As we evolved from auction sales or auction styles, bidding to adding buy or buy it now. So the logical next step for us was to give the seller place to showcase their listing. So this was said by the Bill Cobb. He was the eBay senior vice president for global marketing. Some observers predict that the interactive televisions, that is ITV, will also become a viable direct distribution channel in the coming years as more households are wired with the necessary two-way technology. Also, we are have witnessing the Amazon.com and Flipkart, etc. So many websites are there. Also, social media marketing is also taking the things ahead. So, time pressed consumers in many countries are increasingly attracted to the time and place utility. So, you are having the time utility, you are having place utility. Also, you are having variety of various products and services at your fingertips. So, these are time and place utility was created by the internet and similar new media technologies. Low cost, mass market, non durable products and certain services can be sold door to door through direct sales force. So door to door selling is mature in United States. However, it is growing in popularity elsewhere. For example, in the mid 1990s, AIG had 5,000 agents selling insurance policies door to door in China. This innovative channel strategy was so successful that domestic Chinese companies such as People's Insurance and Ping and Insurance copied it. Noted one local insurance executives, he said that we have to adjust ourselves to the rising competition. In Japan, the biggest barrier facing US auto manufacturers is not a high tariff, rather it's face that the half cars that are sold each year are sold door to door. Also, Toyota and its Japanese competitors maintain showrooms, but they also have to employ more than 1 lakh car salesperson. Unlike their American counterpart, many Japanese car buyers never visit the dealerships. The close, long relationship with the auto salesman and the Japanese people can be thought as a customer version of Kiretsu system that uh, that is popular in Japan. So Japanese car buyers expect numerous face-to-face meeting with the sales representative during which trust is established. So the relationship continues after the deal is closed. Sales reps send cards and continually seek to ensure the buyer satisfaction. American rivals such as Ford, meanwhile, try to generate showroom traffic. So after direct selling alternatives is the manufacturer-owned showrooms, or they are called as independent franchisee stores. One of the first successful US-based international company, that is Singer. Singer is the sewing machine. So in our home also we are having the Singer machine. So that was collaborated as US. So Singer established a worldwide chain of company-owned and operated outlets to sell their service sewing machines. So n number of options are available for us, and other channel structure alternatives for consumer products include various combination of manufacturer sales force and wholesalers calling on independent retail outlets, which in turn sell to customers. So retailing is discussed in the next part, a few slides after. So for mass market consumer products such as ice creams, novelties, cigarettes, and light bulbs that are bought by millions of consumers, a channel that links the manufacturers to distributors and retailers is generally required to achieve the market coverage. Now, the perishable products impose special demand on the channel members who must ensure that the merchandise is in satisfactory condition. That is, satisfactory condition merchandise, you can say that it is which type of utility, it is farm utility at the time of customer purchase. In developed countries, the country company's own sales force is or independent channel members handles distribution of the perishable food goods. In either case, the distribution organization checks the stock to ensure it is fresh. In less developed countries, public marketplaces are important channels. They provide a convenient way for producers of vegetables, bread, and other food products to sell their goods directly. Now, sometimes a relatively simple channel innovation in a developing country can significantly increase company's overall value proposition. You can take example in 1990s or early 1990s, the Moscow Bread Company, that is MBC. Indeed, sorry, they needed to improve their distribution system, existing distribution system. So Russian consumers queue up daily to fresh uh, things and numerous shops and kiosks. And unfortunately, that Moscow's bread company staff was burdened by executives' paperwork that resulted in the delivery mistake. So one of the consulting firm that was called as Anderson Consulting. So Anderson Consulting that time found that as much as one third of the bread company produced was wasted. So in developed countries, about 90% or 95% of the food is sold in the packages. So the figure is much lower in the uh, Soviet Union or former Soviet Union. Whether a consumer bought bread at the outdoor market or in the enclosed store, it was displayed unwrapped. The consulting team devised a simple solution that plastic bags to keep the bread fresh. So Russian consumers responded favorably to this change. Not only they did the bags guarantee freshness and significantly extend the bread's shelf life, but the bags themselves also created utility. So, in a country where such extra are virtually unknown, the bags constituted the reusable gift. So, one second. So, the retail environment in developing countries presents similar type of challenges for companies marketing non-perishable items. We can take one example of Procter and Gamble (P&G). These operations are known as high-frequency stores. So in Mexico alone, an estimated 70% of the population shops at such stores. To motivate the shopkeepers to stock more Procter and Gamble's products, the company launched a Golden Store program. in exchange for the pledge to carry at least 40% or 40 different type of Procter and Gamble products. Participating stores receive regular visits from Procter and Gamble representative who tidily displays areas and arrange promotional material in prominent places. Although P&G initially used its own source force, it has begun relying on independent agents who buy the inventory and then resell the items to the shop operators. Now we'll take Alfred Sargent. So this was the shoe manufacturing company. So Alfred Sargent is a small manufacturer located in uh, North Atmosphere, uh, which is the heart of England's traditional shoemaking region. So as the hand grade is a semi bespoke collection of make to order shoes, like we are having our Kolhapur chappals in Kolhapur, and boost distributed through various boutiques and shoe stores such as Lefort in the New York City. So we'll talk about the industrial products. Now this figure, now we have seen here the consumer products. So distribution channel or suggested distribution channel for the consumer products. Now here for industrial products they have given us one figure. So this figure summarizes the marketing channel alternatives for the industrial products, or you can say business products. As it's true with the consumer products or consumer channels, the product and consumer characteristics have an impact on the channel structure. Th- Three basic elements are involved here. One is manufacturer sales force, then distribution agents or distributor or agent, that is D or A written in the figure. Also sales force, that is called as wholesalers. So wholesalers are also that way in industrial product, you can call it as a sales force because they sell their products to the consumers, unlike the unlike in the consumer products where we are not having, we are just having wholesalers as a specialist teams, but they are not doing any much efforts for selling the products to the retailers or consumers. They are just carrying and forwarding. So, or it can be the combination of these two arrangements. Okay, so a manufacturers can sell directly to wholesalers without using a sales force, or wholesalers in turn can supply various products or assemblies to the consumers or customers. So we can take one example of Italy's Psycho distributor its products through both business to consumer and business to business channels. So marketing managers responsible for domestic appliances arrange for the retail distribution for consumer purchase. Managers who service the vending and professional segments provide vending machines to the organizational consumers, and professional espresso making the equipment to the various bars and cafes. So we can say that the channel innovation can be an essential element for a successful marketing strategy. So depending upon where you are selling your products or where you are distributing your products, what type of products you are distributing, is that product is having shelf life, those are perishable products, or you can keep them uh, for a longer time, then where the consumers usually want those products. So n number of things are there. Or again, one important question: what is the distribution channel of your competitor? So, are you going to adopt the same distribution channel or similar distribution channel, or you want to do some innovations in that? So, much discussion and thinking and some research is required for that to develop a successful distribution marketing strategy. Now, you can take again example of Dell's. So, Dell's rise to a leading position in the global PC industry was based on Michael Dell's decision to bypass the conventional channel by selling direct and by building the computers to the customer specification. So Dell, uh, like I have explained before, also push and pull approach in previous lectures. So Dell come up with the innovative approach of distribution that is called as pull approach. So earlier it was the Compact etc. who was the competitors of the Dell. They were adopting the uh, pull approach, and Dell started distributions of push approach. So Dell began life at as the B2B marketer. Its business model proved to be successful, that the companies then began marketing directly or direct to the home PC market. Now consider the Boeing aircraft. Given the price, physical size, and complexity of a jet airline, it is easy to understand why this Boeing utilizes its own sales force. Other products sold in this way include mainframe computers and large photocopy systems. These are expensive, complicated products that require both explanation and characteristics and how you are going to use that, etc. So you need the Salesforce team for explanation and application analysis focused on the customer's needs. A company trained sales force or salesperson or sales engineer or the entire sales team is well suited for the task of creating information utility for the computer buyers. Now establishing channel and working with channel intermediaries. So we'll start now for this. So a global company expanding across the national boundaries must utilize the existing distribution channel or build its own. So channel obstacles are often encountered when a company enters a competitive market where brands and supply relationships are already established. If management chooses direct involvement, so there are two options: direct involvement or indirect involvement. So if the management chooses direct involvement, the company establishes its own sales force or operates its own retail stores. So Kodak adopted the direct approach in Japan, where Japan or Kodak Japan is a company owned distributor. The other option is, as I said, indirect involvement, which entails the utilizing independent agents, distributors, and retailers. In Asia, for example, Western luxury goods marketers have long relied on independent distributors such as Hong Kong based Fairtron, whose local market knowledge and the network of stores are keys to their success. Now, also, our example is De Beers uses the independent intermediaries to market its diamond in United States. The channel strategy in a global marketing program must fit the company's competitive position and overall marketing objectives in each national market. Now we have seen two approaches: direct involvement and indirect involvement. So direct involvement in distribution in a new market can entails the considerable expenses. Now, various sales representatives and sales management must be hired and trained. The sales organization will be the heavy loser in early stage of the operations in a new market because it will not have sufficient volume to cover its overheads cost. Therefore, any company contemplating the establishment of its own sales force should be prepared to underwrite its losses for a reasonable period of time. Now, channel decisions are important. Why? Because the number and nature of relationships that must be managed. So, channel distribution typically involves a long-term legal commitment and obligations by various intermediaries. Some commitments are often extremely expensive to terminate or change, so as to imperative for companies to document the nature of the relationship with the foreign partners. As saying goes, the shortest pencil is better than the longest memory. So, at a minimum, the written agreement should include a definition of what constitutes of a good cause for the termination of that contract. Now, we have seen in the previous chapter, like it's chapter number 5, that it is often preferable to settle the business disputes through the abbreviation rather than a local court. So, thus, the distributors or agents agreement should also provide for abbreviation in a natural forum in third country. In many instances, local laws protect agents and distributors even in the absence of formal legal agreement. In a civil law country, the law will be applied. In addition to the various written obligations, commitments must be backed by good faith and feeling of mutual obligation. In short, the selection of distributors and agents in a target market is critically important. Companies entering the emerging markets for the first time must exercise particular care in choosing a distribution channel intermediary. Typically, a local distributor is required because the market entrant lacks knowledge of the local business practices and need a partner with the links of potential customers. In addition to the newspapers to a particular market generally want to limit their risk and financial exposures. Now, although initial results may be satisfactory, with time headquarters may become dissatisfied with the local distributor's performance. This is when managers from the global company often intervene and attempt to take a control. Now, one professor, his name was David Arnold. So he was the professor of Howard Business School. So Howard Professor David Arnold offers the 7 specific guidelines. So I will just list out those guidelines. So these 7 specific guidelines are to help prevent such problems of arising. So if you want to avoid the channel conflicts or intermediaries conflicts, and you have to establish and how you are going to work with the channel intermediaries. So we'll take the first. First is select distributors and don't let them to select you. Okay, so this is the first. That is, a company may link up with a distributor by default after being approached by the representative at a trade fair. In fact, such eager candidate may already be serving a company's competitors. Their objective may be to maintain the control over the product category in a given market. A proactive market entrant can identify the potential distributors by requesting a list from the US Department of Commerce and its equivalents in other countries. So, the local chamber of the commerce or the trade association in a country can provide the similar information. So, this is the first, that select distributors, don't let them select you. Second is, look for the distributors capable of developing the markets rather than those with a few good customer contacts. Okay. So here the explanation is the distribution a distributor with good contracts may appear to be the obvious choice in terms of generating quick sales and revenue. However, a better choice is often a partner willing to both make the investment necessary to achieve the success and draw upon the marketing experience of the global company. Such a partner may in fact have no prior experience with a particular product category. In this case, the distributor may devote more efforts and assign the new partner a higher priority simply because taking on the product line does not represent the status quo. The third guideline is treat local distributors as long-term partners, not temporary market entry vehicles. A contractual agreement that provides strong financial incentives for customer acquisition, new product sales, and other forms of business development is a signal to the distributor that the market entrant is taking a long-term perspective. Such development can be done with the input of managers from the global company. Next is support market entry by committing money, managers, and proven marketing ideas. Now, here the explanation is in addition to providing the sales personnel and the technical support, management should consider demonstrating its commitment early on by investing in a minority equity stake in an independent distributor. The risk associated with each investment should be no longer than the risk associated with the independent distribution system in the manufacturer's home country. The earlier such a commitment is made, the better is the relationship that is likely to develop. So now fifth, sixth, and seventh. Fifth is from the start maintain control over the marketing strategy. Second. Okay, so from the start, maintain control over the marketing strategy is the fifth guideline. So to exploit the full potential of the global marketing channels, the manufacturers provides or should provide solid leadership for the marketing in terms of which products the distributor should sell and how to position them. Again, it is necessary to have employees on site to have country or regional managers monitor the distributor's performance. As one manager noted that he said that we used to give uh, far too much autonomy to the distributors, thinking that they knew their market. But one value proposition is tough to one to execute and the time and again we saw the distributors cut prices to compensate for falling the target to the right customers or to sustainably train the salespersons. So this is not say that the intermediary should not be allowed to adopt the distribution strategy to suit the local condition. The point is for manufacturers to take the lead, and the leaders should not be the distributor, but the manufacturer should be the leader in setting the strategies. Now, sixth is make sure distributors provide you the detailed market and financial performances data. So the distributor or the distribution organizers are often a company's best source, maybe the only source of the market information. What exactly the feedback of customers and retailers, whether your products are getting sold or not, and at what frequency the demand is there. Such type of information is needed. So the contract between the manufacturer and the distributor should conclude the specific language to the effect that local market information and financial data will be transferred back to the manufacturer. One sign that a successful manufacturer's distributor relationship can be established in the latter's willingness to provide such information. Last guideline is build links among the national distributors at the earliest opportunity. A manufacturer should attempt to establish links between its network of national distributors. National distributor means such agencies or organizations which are distributing the products in the entire nation. This can be accomplished by setting up a regional corporate office or by establishing a distributor council. At any point of time, a company may have some excellent agents and distributors, others that are satisfactory, and a third group which is unsatisfactory. By creating opportunities for distributors to communicate ideas for new product designs based on individual market, results can be leveraged and overall distribution performance can be improved. So when we are saying that when revisiting the channel strategy, it is necessary to be realistic about the intermediaries' motives. If or it is the intermediaries' responsibility to implement an important element of a company's marketing strategy. Left to their own devices, however, middlemen may seek to maximize their own profit rather than the manufacturers. These agents sometimes engage in cherry pricing, the practices of accepting orders only from the manufacturers with the established demand for products and brands. Now, what is global retailing? Global retailing is any retailing that crosses the national boundaries. So, the simple definition global retailing. For centuries, the entrepreneurial merchants have ventured abroad to seek out the merchandise and ideas and to establish the retail operations. During the 19th and the early 20th century, the British, French, Dutch, Belgium, German trading companies established their retailing organizations in Africa and Asia. International trading and retail stores operations were two of the economic pillars of that era's colonial system. In the 20th century, Dutch apparel and footwear retailers C&A expanded across Europe. In 1909, American Frank Woolworth took his five and dime concept across the Atlantic, opening his first British store in Liverpool. So, global retailers serve an important distribution function. When Carrefour, the Tesco, and Walmart set up shop in developing countries, they provide customers with the access to more products and lower prices than were available previously. As we have noted throughout the text, when the global companies expand abroad, they often encounter the local competitors. The retail sector is not exception. India is a case in point. So organized retail in terms that is used to describe the modern branded chain stores currently comprises less than 5% of the India's market. The sector is expected to exhibit double figures growth, a fact that has attracted giants of global retailing across the globe. However, they must compete with the stores operated by the local retail chains. One such company is Reliance Industries. Its Reliance Retail division is opening thousands of modern supermarkets across India. What's more, Reliance itself is developing plans for the global expansion as well. In some instances, it is local retailer rather than the global one that breaks new ground by transforming the shopping experiences. Retail business models may undergo significant adoption outside the country in which they are originated. For example, after the first 7-Eleven Japan franchisee that is opened in 1973, the store quickly attracted customers seeking convenience. Today, convenience are the ubiquitous in the Japan, which with more than 43,000 stores located. Seven and I Holdings, which operates 7-Eleven in Japan's largest grocer. The convenience stores operated using the cutting edge that is EPOS data, to track the consumer behavior and ensure that the perishable products and other merchandise is delivered in just in time basic basis during the high tariff periods. Now we will learn various types of retail operators. You must have heard about various departmental stores, then supermarkets, then shopping malls, then hypermarkets. So these many terms are very much popular in India also. So now we will see uh, what the what is the difference between hypermarket and super centers, and what is the difference between super centers and super stores, and what is the supermarket. Okay, so one by one we will learn all. First we'll start with departmental stores. So these are various types: departmental stores, then specialty retailers, then supermarkets, convenience stores, discount retailers, dollar stores, hard discounters, supermarkets, hypermarkets, superstores, shopping malls, and outlet stores. So first is departmental stores. So departmental stores literally have several departments under one roof, each representing a distinct merchandise line and staffed with a limited number of sales per people. Department in a typical store might include men's, women's, children's, beauty aids, then housewares and toys, and you can have a list of major department stores that has expanded outside their own country markets. Like you can say the stores, uh, H&M, Hens and Moritz, that is originated in Sweden, and global locations are Austria, then Germany, Kuwait, United States, and 20 other countries. Then we are having Japanese oriented or originated Mitsukoshi. Now that store is there in Asia, Europe, and United States also. Then Barney's New York, that is originated by US, that is having their outlet in Japan. Then Harvey Nichols, that is originated by UK. They are having their stores in Saudi Arabia, Hong Kong, Ireland, and Dubai. However, in more instances, the expansion is limited to few countries. Then, according to Maureen Hinton, he is the retail analyst with a London-based consultancy. He noted that it's quite difficult to transfer a departmental store brand abroad. You have to find a city with the right demographic for your offer. If you adapt your offer to the locality, you dilute your brand name. Now, Marvin Traub, he was the former chief executive of Bloomingdale's, has a different perspective. Conceptually, he said that departmental stores are global brands because we live in a world with an enormous amount of travel between the cities and continents. So this is about departmental stores where under one roof distinct merchandise lines are there. Next is a specialty retailers. The specialty retailers offer less than the departmental stores. They are more narrowly focused and offer a relatively narrow merchandise mix aimed at a particular target market. Specialty stores offer a great deal of merchandise depth, that is, many styles under one roof or many colors or sizes, high levels of service from knowledgeable staff, and a value proposition that is both clear and appealing to the consumers. Now, according to Laura, the Body Shop, Victoria's Secret, Gap, Starbucks, and the Disney stores are the example of the global retail operators that have stores in many parts of the world. In some countries, local companies operate their stores, like in Japan, for example. The giant Eon Group runs Lana Ashley and the Body Shop stores that has joint venture with sports authorities. So these are specialty stores. Then next are various supermarkets. Now supermarkets are departmentalized. Then single story retail establishment that offers variety of food, that is these are produced baked goods, meats, so on. Also some non-food items like paper products, health, beauty aids, etc. Mostly supermarkets are offering that on a self-service basis. On average, the supermarkets occupy between 50,000 to 60,000 square feet of the entire floor space. As noted in the chapter introduction, we have seen that UK-based Tesco is one of the retailing group that has expanding globally. While home country sales still account for 80% of the overall sale, the company has operation in more than the dozen of the foreign countries. Company officials typically study a country's market for several years before choosing an entry stage or entry strategy. Tesco's initial entry in Japan came through an acquisition of the C2 network, that is the chain of shops in Tokyo. As International Operations Chief David Reid, he explains that Tesco has succeeded globally because it does its homework and pays attention to the details. Although Walmart is generating headlines as it moves around the globe, the American retailers lag behind the European in moving outside their home countries. One of the reasons is sheer size of the domestic US market. In fact, Walmart's lack of experience outside the North America undoubtedly contributed to its failure in South Korea and uh, Germany. So this is about supermarket. Next are convenience stores. So convenience stores, as the name suggests, offer some of the same products such as the supermarkets, but here the merchandise mix is limited to the high turnover convenience and impulse products. Prices for the some products may be 15 to 20% higher than the supermarket prices. In terms of square footage, these are the smallest organized retails stores that we are discussing here. In United States, for example, a typical 7-Eleven occupies approximately 3,000 square feet area only, where the supermarkets were occupying 50,000 to 60,000. The convenience stores are occupying only 3,000 square feet area. Typically, convenience stores are located in a high traffic locations and offer extended services or service hours to accommodate the commuters, then student and other highly mobile customers. 7-Eleven is the world's largest convenience store chain. It has total 26,000 locations worldwide. That includes their franchisees licensings, then stores the companies operates itself. A trend in convenience stores retailing is towards the smaller stores placed inside the mall, airports, then offer buildings, and in college and university buildings. Now, next are the discount stores. Now, what are discount stores? The discount stores can be divided into several categories. The most general characteristics that they have in common is the emphasis is on the low prices. So, full line discounters typically offers a wide range of merchandise, including non-food items and non-perishable food in a limited service format. And Walmart is the regaining king of the full line discounts or discounters. Many stores coverage approximately 120,000 square feet or maybe more of the four entire floor space. The food accounts for the third or fourth space of sales. Walmart stores typically offer basket for spare and value priced brands. Walmart is also a leader in the warehouse club segment of the discount retailer shopping. They join the club to take the advantages of low prices on a limited range of products. Typically, 3,000 to 5,000 different items are there in the discount retailers, many of which are displayed in their shopping curtains or no-frill atmospheres. So when Walmart expanded into the new country market, the local discounters must respond to their competitive threat. Like in Canada, for example, Hudson's Bay's Zellers is the largest discount store chain. After Walmart acquired a bankrupt Canadian chain, then Zellers countered by brightening their decors in the stores, widening the and catering to women and young children there. Then French discount Tati is also going global in addition to opening their stores in New York's Fifth Avenue. Tati currently has stores in Lebanon, Turkey, Germany, Belgium, Switzerland. Okay, so this is about discount retailers. Then next are the dollar stores. So dollar stores sells a select assortment of products in a single low price. In United States, family dollar stores and Dollar Tree stores dominate the industry. Moreover, a recent industry entrant, My Dollar Store, is experiencing rapid international growth. My Dollar Store Incorporation has franchisee in Western Europe, Central America, and Asia. To succeed in the global market, My Dollar Store has adopted its US business model. For example, the typical US dollar store has a bargain basement image. By contrast, in India, My Dollar Store targets affluent middle class shoppers uh, who are attracted by the lure of prices of the brands associated with the good life. In America, goods are priced in 99 rupees, the equivalent of $2 approximately, and the stores decorated in red and white and blue with the Statue of Liberty on the displays. In United States, dollar stores operate on a single service basis with a lean staff. It is very less staff, and my dollar stores Indian location have significantly higher staffing levels. The better to answer questions about the new or unfamiliar products. So next is the hard discounters. Okay, hard discounters includes retailers such as Germany's Aldi, then Leader Price, that tells the tightly focused selection of the goods, typically 900 to 1600 different items, rock bottom prices. Starting in 1976, Aldi began operating a few stores each year in the United States. The stores have a relatively small footprint, that is 17,500 square feet of the floor space is typical. Now, the Jason Hart, he was the co-president of all these US corporations. He noted that that means he carries 1,500 of the most popular grocery items out there. When you look at the large supermarkets that may have 20 to 30,000 items, it's surprising to the customers how much is the shopping list we are able to fit in a small store. The company has planned out 80 new US stores recently. Now, what are hypermarkets? So hypermarkets are hybrid retailing formats combining the discounts, then supermarkets and warehouse club approaches under a single roof. So size-wise, hypermarkets are huge, ranging from 2 lakh square meters, 2 lakh square feet to 3 lakh square feet. Now, supercenters. Supercenters offer a wide range of aggressively priced grocery items plus general merchandise in a space that occupies about half of the size of the hypermarket. Supercenters are an important aspect of Walmart's growth strategy, both at home and abroad. Walmart opened its first supercenter in 1988. Today, it operates more than 2,600 supercenters, including hundreds of stores in Mexico and units in Argentina and Brazil. Some prices at Walmart supercenters in Brazil are as much as 15% lower than the competitors in Brazil. And some of the observers wonder if the company has taken the discount approach too far. The company officials insist that profit margins are in the 20 to 22% range. Now, last three superstores. Superstores, also known as category killers or big box retailers. Okay, so superstores is a label in the many retailing industry used when we are talking about the Toys R Us or Home Depot or ICA. So we have taken case study of ICA. The name refers to the fact that such stores are specialized in selling vast assortment of a particular product category, toys or furniture for example, in the high volume at low prices. In short, these stores represents retailing 900 pound uh, gorillas that put pressure on the smaller, more traditional competitors and promote departmental stores to scale down the merchandise sections that are in the direct competition. Next are various shopping malls. So we are very much familiar with these shopping malls. Shopping mall consists of grouping of stores in one place. Developers such as Simon Property Group assembles an assortment of retailers that will create an appealing leisure uh, destination. Typically, one or more large departments stores serve as anchors. Shopping malls offer acres of free parking and easy access from the main traffic thoroughfares. Historically, malls are enclosed, allowing shoppers to browse in comfort no matter what is the weather outside. Uh, However, a current trend is towards the outdoor shopping centers, now called as lifestyle centers. Food courts, entertainment encourages families to spend several times in the mall. In United States, malls sprang up with the people moved from the city centers to the uh, suburbs. Today, global mall development reflects the opportunity to serve emerging the middle class customers who seek both entertainment as well as convenience. So, three of the world's five largest malls are in Asia. So the reasons are clear cut. Economic growth lead to rising the incomes. In addition, tourism is booming in the region. Some industry observe Vaughan and mega malls and their glamorous global brand offerings are luring the shoppers away from the markets that sell goods produced by the local craftspeople. Somewhere along with the ways, the thrill of discovering something new has been lost. Last is the outlet stores. I will just talk about outlet stores. Outlet stores are a variation of traditional shopping malls, retail operations that allow companies with well-known consumer brands to dispose their executive inventories, excess inventories, outdated merchandise, or factory seconds. Now, the world's largest shopping mall, ranked by gross, first is in China, South China Mall. They are having total 1,500 stores. Second is also the Golden Resort Shopping Mall that is also in Beijing, China. They are having 1,000 stores. Then third is in Philippines. The name is SM Mall of Asia. Fourth is in Dubai, UAE. That is Dubai Mall. And fifth is in Canada, West Endowment Mall, that is based in Canada. So these are the world's largest top five shopping malls. Okay, so now we'll talk about some trends in global retailing. We'll just take a 15-second break, 15 to 20 second, and I will just return 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So now talk about some trends in global retailing. So currently, a variety of environmental factors have combined to push the retailers out of their home markets in search of opportunities around the globe. Saturation of the home country market, then recession or other economic factors, strict regulations on the store development, and high operating cost are some of the few factors that prompt management to look abroad for the growth opportunities. Walmart is a case in point. Its international expansion in the mid 1990s coincides with the disappointment financial results in its home market. Now, Walmart have pulled out from Germany and South Korea. Home Decor has closed several stores in Beijing. Then Best Buy closed several stores in China. Also, Mattel closed its six-story flagship Barbie store in Shanghai. So, even as the domestic retailing environment grows more challenging for many companies, an ongoing environmental scanning effort is likely to turn up markets in the other parts of the world are underdeveloped or where the competition is weak. In addition, high rates of economic growth, a growing middle class, a high promotion of young people in the population, a less stagnant regulation combines to make some country markets very attractive. For example, Laura Ashley, the Body Shop, the Disney stores, and the other specialty retailers were lured to Japan by the developers who need established names to fill the space in large suburbs. The American style shopping malls. Such malls are being developed as some local and national restrictions on their retail development are being uh, eased, and as the consumers tire of the aggravations associated with their shopping malls, congested urban areas. However, the large number of unsuccessful cross-border retailing initiatives suggest that anyone contemplating a move into the global retailing should do so with a great deal of caution. Among those that have scaled the expansion plans in the face of disappointment as Prince Galleries and the Shanghai-based Yahoo Group. Uh, you can take some examples like that. So these examples that we have seen Walmart pulled out from the Germany, and Best Buy closed the several stores in China, etc. These examples illustrate that it's not always possible to export a retail business model that has proven successful in the domestic US market. As one industry analyst noted that it's awfully hard to operate across the water. It's one thing to open up in Mexico and Canada, but the distribution hassles are just too big when it becomes to exploring the entire store concept overseas. The critical question for the would-be global retailer is: what advantages do relatively we have relative to the global competition? Then the answer will be often will be nothing. Then the competition, that is local laws governing retailing practices, distribution channels, and the other factors are taken into account. However, a company may possess competencies that can be the basis of the competitive advantage in a particular retail market. A retailer has several things to offer consumers, such as selection, price, and overall manner in condition in which the goods are offered in this store setting. Store location, then parking facilities, in-store atmosphere, and customer service also contribute to the value proposition. The competencies can be found in the less visible value chain activities such as distribution, logistics, and information technology. Now we'll see few categories like this. So this figure that shows a matrix based on the scheme for classifying the global retailers. So many categories, few categories are there on the horizontal axis, top and bottom, and on from left hand side and right hand side we are having own label focused and manufacturers brand focus. So the figure shows a matrix based on the schemes for classifying the global retailers. One axis represents the private or own labeled focus versus a manufacturer brand focus. The other axis, that is horizontal axis, differentiates between the retailers specializing in relatively few product categories and retailers that offer a wide product assortment. ICA in a quadrant, that is the first quadrant, that is quadrant A, we can say, is a good example of a global retailer with a niche focus, that is assembly your furniture at your home, as well as the own labeled focus, that is ICA sells its own brand. ICA and the other retailers in the quadrant A typically use extensive advertising and product innovation to build a strong brand image. In the quadrant B, the private label focus is retained, but many more product categories are offered. This is the strategy of Marks and Spencer, that is M&S, the British-based departmental stores company whose St. Michael private label is found on the board of ranging clothes and home furniture, jewelry, and other items. Private label retailers that attempt to expand internationally face a double-edged challenge. They must attract customers to both the stores and the branded merchandise. M&S, that is Marks and Spencer, had successfully by virtue of the entrepreneurial management style that has evolved over last 100 plus years. M&S opened its first store outside the United Kingdom in 1974 and is currently operated in more than 40 countries. In 1997, the chairman, Sir Richard Greenbury, announces an ambitious plan to put M&S well on its way to establishing a global business. It was his belief that customer taste are globalizing, at least with respect to the fashion apparel. Food is a different story because tastes are more localized. M&S executives anticipated that the proportion of the revenues from the food sales will be lower and that are in Great Britain. The difficulty of today's retailing environment is underscored by M&S recent financial moves. The company's profit and share price plunged in the late 1990 amid sales slumps and infighting between the top executives. Sir Richard left the company in 1998. The turnover strategy called for disposing of non-core properties such as the Brook Brothers and King supermarkets chains in United States. Now, starting with the megastore locations on London's Oxford Street in 1975, then Branson's Virgin Retail empires now extended throughout the Europe, North America, Japan, Hong Kong, and Taiwan as well. Another of the Branson's ventures, the Virgin Atlantic Airlines, reflects the same effort to provide a different service experience. Now, next we can say is the global retailing market entry strategy framework. Yes, this is the quadrant we can study. Now, the retailers can choose from the four market entry expansion strategy. Now, here again, when expanding outside their home country, we can see this figure. These are the four strategies that can be diagrammed using a matrix that differentiates between the markets. First is markets that are easy to enter versus those are difficult to enter. So on vertical axis we are having these two axes, easy to enter and difficult to enter. And in the second we are having the culturally closed markets versus the culturally distant ones. So the upper half of the matrix encompasses the quadrant A and D and represents the markets in which the shopping patterns and retail structures are similar to those in the home country. You can see in the lower half of the matrix, quadrant B and quadrant C represents uh, markets which are significantly different from the home country market in terms of one and more cultural characteristics. The right-hand side of the matrix, we are having quadrant A and B represents market that are difficult to enter because of the presence of strong competitors, maybe because of locations, maybe government restrictions, maybe excessively high rents or retail estate cost and other factors. And in quadrant C and D at the left hand side, we can say any barriers that exist are relatively easy to overcome. So the four entry strategies indicated by the matrix are organic franchisee, chain acquisition, and joint venture and licensing. So in between, you can see that organic franchisee, chain acquisition, and joint venture in licensing. So we'll talk about these four one by one. First, we'll start with organic growth. So first quadrant, that is the D quadrant, organic growth. You can see these are easy to enter and culturally close. So organic growth occurs when company uses its own resources and open a store on a green field site or to acquire one or more existing retailers facilitates from the other company. In 1997, for example, M&S announced plan to expand from one store to four in Germany through the purchase of three stores operated by Krampen and Meerman. So this is the example of organic growth. The next is franchising, shown in quadrant C. Okay, so is the appropriate entry strategy when barriers to entry are low, yet in the market is culturally distinct in terms of consumer behavior or retailing structure. Franchising is a contractual relationship between two companies. The parent company franchisor authorizes a franchisee to operate business development by the franchisor in return for a fee or adherence to the franchisee side policies and practices. The key to a successful franchisee operation is the ability to transfer the company know-how to the new market. In the global retailing, acquisition, that is third. Okay, so chain acquisition. So in the global retailing, acquisition is a market entry strategy that entails purchasing a company with multiple retail locations in a foreign country. This strategy can provide the buyer with quick and growth as well as access to existing brand suppliers, distributors, and customers as well. M&S, for example, had no plans for the organic growth in United States. Rather, it acquired the upscale private label in American retailer Brooks and Brothers in 1988 for $750 million. Executives at the Brooks and Brothers spent most of their 1990s trying to expand the brand's customer base, and recent results have been promising. Now, next is last is that is quadrant B is joint venture and licensing. So, joint ventures and licensings were examined in examined where the global retailers frequently use these strategies to limit their risk when targeting unfamiliaries, difficult to entries unfamiliaries, and uh, such type of markets. We can take example of Barnes New York license to its name to Barnes Japan for a period of 10 years. Saks Fifth Avenue has licensed stores in the Middle East. In some countries, local regulations mandate use of joint ventures. For example, prior to 2005, China had regulations that required foreign retailers entering the market to the local partners. Chinese authorities liberalized the country's retail climate in 2005 to the ICA and the other retailers that initially used joint ventures as the entry strategies are shifting to wholly owned stores. Now, we'll talk about this global retailing and market that we have seen. Okay, we'll talk about now physical distribution and supply chain and logistics management. Just brief of that. What is order processing and all that, and what is the basic of supply chain management? As we are talking about distribution channel, we'll just have brief of this. So we have discussed in chapter number one that marketing was described as one of the activities in the firm's value chain. The distribution P of the marketing mix is the critical value chain activity. After all, Coca-Cola, ICA, Nokia, Procter and Gamble, Toyota, and other global companies create value by making sure their products are available where and when customers need and want them. As defined in this particular chapter, physical distribution consists of activities involved in moving the finished goods from the manufacturers to the customers. However, the value chain concept is much broader. So, the value chain is a useful tool for assessing an organization's competency as it performs value creating activities within a broader supply chain. The latter includes all the firms that performs support activities by generating raw materials, converting them into the components or finished products, and facilitating their delivery to the customers. Now, logistic in turn is the management process that integrates the activities of all the companies, uh, both upstream and downstream, to ensure the efficient flow of goods through the supply chain. Logistics was not really a household term in UPS launched its global "We Love Logistics" advertisement campaign. The TV advertisement utilized the catchy jingle, a Harry Weston paint tune, that's Amor, popularized by 1953. So that was the example, like when it's plan in the sky for a chain of supply, it's logistics. When its parts for the line come precisely on time, it's logistics. So this is the simple order processing diagram: supply chain, value chain, and logistics. So activities relating to the order processing provide information inputs that are critically in fulfilling a customer's order. Order processing includes order entry, in which the order is actually entered into the company's information system. Order handling, which involves locating, assembling, and moving products into distribution, and the order delivery, the process by which the products are made available to the customers. In some instances, the customers is a customer, as the case when you place the order with Amazon.com or Land's End. In other instances, the customer is a channel member, like Pepsi Bottling Group. Recently overhauled its supply chain, is an effort to eliminate the inventory out of stock problems. Now, what is the next concept is warehousing, inventory management, and transportation. In brief, we'll just see. So, warehousing are used to store the goods until they are sold. Another type of facility that the distribution center is designed to efficiently receive goods from the suppliers and then fill orders for the individual stores and customers. Modern distributions and warehousing is such an automated high-tech business today that the more companies outsource this function. You can use RFID, that is radio frequency identity devices also. Next is inventory management. So proper inventory management ensures that the company neither runs out of the manufacturing components or finished goods, nor it incurs the expenses of risk of carrying the exclusive stocks and these items. So another issue in balancing the order processing cost against the inventory carrying cost. The more often a product is ordered, the higher the order processing cost associated with unloading, stocking, and related activities. The less frequently a product is ordered, the higher is the inventory carrying cost. Because more product must be kept in the inventory to convert or to cover the longer period between the orders, an important tool is inventory management is RFID, that is radio frequency identification. RFID utilizes small tags that are attached to pallets, containers, and individual inventory items. Last is transportation. So finally, transportation decision concerns a method, that is a mode companies should utilize when moving products through the domestic or global channels. The word mode implies a choice, and the major transformation mode choices are typically rail, water, truck, air, pipeline, and internet. So we can compare them uh, with the various factors like reliability, cost, speed, accessibility, capability, and ease of tracing. So as far as we'll just talk about air and rail. Uh, uh, Rail, the reliability is average, the cost is average, the speed is average, accessibility is high, capability is high, and ease of tracing is low. In air, reliability is high, cost is high, speed is fast, accessibility is low, capability is moderate, and ease of tracing is high. We'll include one more that is popular in India, that is truck. So for truck, reliability is high, cost varies, then speed is comparatively fast, then accessibility is high, capability is high, and tracing is also high. So in India, rail transportation and truck transportation are very much popular than the airline and water. So this is about various transportation methods. Now we will just move towards the last part, that is called as summary. So we'll just summarize what we have learned today. So should I read, or anybody uh, can read? Anyone? I will just have to click your attendance. 1 second. Okay. Okay, I will read for you. अरे यार. Okay. So we'll summarize the today chapter like a channel of distribution is the network of agencies and institutions that links producers with users. Physical distribution is the movement of goods through the channel. Business to business marketing uses consumer channels. Business to business marketing employs industrial channels to deliver products to manufacturers or other types of organizations. Peer to peer marketing, we have seen that was initiated by eBay. So, through the internet is another channel. Distribution or distributors or agents are the key intermediaries in both type of channel. Then channel decisions are difficult to manage globally because of the variations in the channel structures from country to country. Marketing channels can create place utility, time utility, form utility, and information utility for buyers. The characteristics of customers, products, middleman, and environment all affect the channel design and strategy. Consumer channels may be relatively direct, utilizing direct mail or door to door selling, as well as manufacturer owned stores. A combination of manufacturer sales forces, agents, brokers, and wholesalers may also be used. Channels for industrial products are less varied, with manufacturers' sales force, wholesalers, and dealers or agents used. Global retailing is a growing trend as successful retailers expand around the world in the support of the growth objectives. Retail operations take many different forms, including departmental stores, specialty retailers and supermarkets, convenience stores, discount retailers, hard discounters, hypermarkets, supermarkets, supercenters, superstores, shopping malls, outlet stores, and outlet malls. We have seen all these in details. Selection, price, store location, and customer service are a few of the competencies that can be used strategically to enter new market. It is possible to classify retailers in a matrix that distinguishes companies offering a few product categories with an own label focus, many categories with an own label focus, few categories with a manufacturer brand focus, and many categories with a manufacturer brand focus. We have seen that also in detail. So, global retail expansion can be achieved through organic growth, franchising, acquisition, joint venture, and licensing. So, that matrix that we have studied. Then, transportation and physical distribution issues are critically important in companies' value chain because of the geographical distances involved in sourcing products and serving customers in different parts of the world. A company's supply chain includes all the firms that performs support activities such as generating raw material or fabricating the components. Then logistics and logistics management integrates the activities of all companies in the firm's value chain to ensure an efficient flow of goods through the supply chain. Important activities include order processing, warehousing, and inventory management. To cut cost and improve efficiency, many companies are reconfiguring their supply chains by outsourcing or some of these activities. Six transportation modes are there: air, truck, water, rail, pipeline, and internet. These are widely used in global distribution. Containerization was a key innovation in the physical distribution that facilitates intermodal transportation. So this is about summary. Now few questions. Now I have prepared all these PPTs, and at the end of the PPTs there are discussion questions. You can treat these discussion questions as important questions for the exam point of view. So for this, the discussion questions are: in what ways can the channel intermediaries create utility for the buyers? What factors influence the channel structures and strategies available to the global marketers? What is cherry picking? What approaches can be used to deal with this problem? Compare and contrast the typical channel structure for consumer products and industrial products. Identify different forms of retailing and cite an example of each. Identify retailers from as many different countries as you can. Identify the four retail market expansion strategies discussed in text. What factors determine the appropriate mode? So with this, my discussion is stopped. 1 second.